But speaking about that, I think much as we take it to the DJs
Yes.
for not playing that extra music, also very many artists do not perform their new music, most especially hip hop artists.
They don't.
They don't perform their new
They
music.
don't perform their new music for the crowd.
Okay. I have an answer for this.
But they
one.
promote the new songs,
I
like
have an
videos
answer.
and everything. Yeah.
Who are you talking about in particular? Because I know artists who perform their new music on stage.
Now first give me the examples, then we see if really where. Because they are not even booked. First of all, where do they perform?
Then what? I would expect about those are hip hop. The people who fool around just, but then they are hip hop artists. That okay, here's the thing. One thing that I've experienced and that I know, one of the reasons the music is not on online platforms. One of the reasons is that Nas has an album called Illmatic.
Yeah.
Let me begin it with that.
Yeah.
Nas has an album called Illmatic. Nas was trapped by that album. That everywhere he went, he's like, guys, I have a new album. They're like, what? Illmatic. The same way, right? People always refer to my album, Koi Koi.
Koi Koi.
Right? And I've realized in my career that actually it's better to always perform 50% new songs, right?
Yeah.
And then you go on segmenting it, but always if you perform for people their favorite, the one that they came to see you do, it's always at a disadvantage of the artist.
True.
Yeah.
For the person who came to see the show, they are satisfied already. Olimba Balumanyi.
Yeah.
If you give them that, right, they will always only want that. And I can tell you, Maddox has songs, but because people always refer to that album, he's always going to perform that album. They're satisfied and okay with him performing that album even for the next even for the next 20 years. You get me? But I think I was a kid who wasn't even allowed to go to Bivolo when I remember my mom excited telling me, oh, Maddox is going to be performing for the Kabaka. We're going for this show with your dad. And it was a big deal. He was performing Namagembe. Now I'm a grown man. And still, this album is Bagala Kokoka. And Ugandans have a lot of Katijo. You get me? That even if he has better music, they'll always say, we want that one. And it's okay. I used to have a problem with it personally until I heard Nas talk about it on his King's Disease album. Because we kings have diseases. And one of the diseases is like he was always mad at his fans for not letting go of the Illmatic, so he'd give them new stuff. So it isn't up to your fans. Your fans will always only want that. But it's up to you to introduce new foods. Which together as time goes on. So why artists only perform usually their old songs is because they are afraid that the crowd might not love their new stuff as much as they loved their old stuff. And because if you're the artist who performs usually on other people's shows and you've never had the opportunity to curate your own shows, you're always going to end up, because you only can have like a small time boycott. 3 songs. How are you going to perform a new song when it's your time to kill? Even Dibanj on Dibanj no show Yakamaliriza. I mean, Dibanj is like this old Nigerian artist, but this show just did Global Citizen, because we're looking for like African icons. So when Dibanj came through, Dibanj did not perform new music. He still gave you Oliver Twist. You get me? Because it's that time and it's your time to kill. This brings me all now full circle to GNX. Kendrick Lamar on the Super Bowl, people were like, why didn't he perform all right? Why didn't he perform this? Why didn't he perform that? But because his manager is smart, it's all about continuity. I always saw this with Beyonce. I always saw this with Jay-Z. Jay-Z has a way of doing it. Jay-Z gives you 70% old, 30% new.
And he will force you, be like, if
he will
you don't
force
know
you
it, then
to,
you're the one who
he will force you to just like be there and like take in the moment that you're here with Jigga. And you're like, oh man, I'm not feeling this new stuff. Then he begins dropping the old stuff. And before you know it, the moment he introduced the new ones is still with you. Like, I want that, the way he entered with that new one, you know, like it stays with you. So there's an art to doing it. And I've struggled with it.
Yeah.
And I'm so sure that there's so many artists who struggle with it.
Yeah.
But now I've figured out a way of breaking that.
Yeah.
Music namujjeyo yenna omukadde ku Spotify. Sagala kundetako katijjo.
Yeah.
All the old music that you love, if you didn't buy the album, if you don't have it, if you're not willing to go to my if you're not willing to go to GNLZAMBA.com, that music is no longer there. Wait for the new stuff.
Yeah. I think sometimes you have to take it upon yourself to, like, how you nurture your child. This is how we're gonna do this now. You have to get used to. Sometimes
it's like your mom. It's like having a child. I'm sorry for calling my fans children or people that love music, but it's like having a child who is like 18 years old, but they still want the titty. I can't think of a better example, but they still want the titty. I'm telling you 1,000%. The way I'm rhyming on vibranium and the way I'm rhyming on how many mics, the lyrical maturity in that. I know Koi Koi is a great record. Great. Sometimes I also challenge myself and I'm like, but this Kayanga GNL is like really hard. But bruh, the maturity of this one, and when I compare it to the simplicity of like a soda ginger ale, I'm like, you can't tell me that you're not going to take this over that. But there is sentimentality, nostalgia. There are songs that are attached to people's growing up, them getting their first kiss, buying their first car. You can't take away any of that. Actually, I don't even have the power to. I'm just trying to like engineer it in a way, like a scientist would. How do I get this child off this titty so we can move on and do other things? But that's me, but I don't know if there's an explanation for other artists.
Well, me, I've always thought that artists, they only sell the music, but they don't sell the lifestyle. You know?
Yeah.
Because as artists, you need to be loved 360 all round, you know? So an artist will make music, but then they don't represent, they don't carry that aura of if they speak, people will listen. So people will always be like, as long as you play the other song, we don't care what else you're playing, you know. But yet, if people respected you and they love you, it's like.
By the way,
if Rose stepped on stage and it was like, yo, so DJ, first turn down that, listen to this new hit, like the way Future does it, the way these trap guys do it, they come with new music. And they still perform it like you know it, even if you don't know.
But the difference between those artists and an artist, say, like there's another artist who is actually very good, Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean makes amazing music. Every time he features on another artist's album, he's going to kill it. But Frank Ocean has been trapped by that album he did. It's called Channel Orange. The album is too good. That even though he creates other joints that are dope, there was an album he did called Blonde. People are like, but did you remember when he did Channel Orange, that song called Novocaine? Like, people are trapped on that. And trust me, there was a time when Drake was booed. This is an artist who has not put out a song I think in like the last 12 years, 13 years. His own. But Tyler the Creator had a festival where they invited Drake being one of the biggest artists in the world, and he was hot. Just coming off to Waneba Mgamba, Frank Ocean is not going to be able to show up. But Drake is here. They booed Drake. And the DJ just ended up playing the other guy's music, and the crowd understood that Frank Ocean wouldn't come. But just they would rather have the speakers play his music as they sing along. They did even a Coachella for him where he cancelled like over 15 minutes to bookings. He still didn't perform, but because he's afraid. They're not going to love the new stuff, but because that album is so powerful, and these albums are like so powerful because you take your whole life creating them. Like it's like an album which is like 17-20 years in the making. Luckily for me, there's another album which was successful, Speaking Vernacular. So when they say Koi Koi alone, I'm like, nah. There are more hits on Speaking Vernacular than there are on Koi Koi, but I understand why you love Koi Koi. Like even for me, there's something spiritual about that album.
But some of your fans forced some songs from Speaking Vernacular
onto Koi Koi. I know.
This song was so good. That must have been the Koi Koi album.
I'm like, no. There's not a song like people say Power, but no, Power is like 4 albums deep.
You can't imagine.
Power is, but the beauty of having a collection of songs. But the beauty of having those many songs, right?
Yeah.
And you have like an hour and a half to put into a performance, and then you just have to select what are the 12 songs I'm doing for this crowd.
Yeah.
Because labanga 1 hour and a half and nene.
But on
stage it shrinks.
yeah.
Because you have the crowd singing along, you have interactions, you have the band, you like vibing, everything is like max 15 songs.
Yeah.
Then the beauty of hip hop is like you get to a set where the scratcher now comes in.
Yeah.
I could take you from one moment before you know the song you thought I was not going to perform, your favorite, Bloody comes in and kills you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's some science and that's in the middle there, but I think every artist has their reason why. But usually if your first album is so powerful, it traps you.
And very many of artists don't even have the first album.
So
No, talk of
how would you be 10 years in the industry? You have no album.
Sorry,
have one album.
Sorry, one more point Jowade Yogirako about the difference between the two, that Future drops and Rose can drop. Whatever artist nga alwao kufulumia, I think it usually affects artists who delay putting out new songs. But if an artist always puts out a new song, people are used to that formula. Because when you see Future, much as people like his old stuff, they always like waiting for what's his newest.
Yeah.
While there are artists who take long without giving people something, where you're like, I just like the other 2 albums that he last put out. Matter of fact, Njagalezo Zokakat. But there are people who are used to giving. Because to me, Rick Ross, what are you going to put? I just want a new Rick Ross song. I don't even need your old ones. Zantamba. But there are Emudra or Shiba, you want the newest, the latest. You're waiting for that unveiling. While for Irene Namubiru or Juliana, you're like, I'm good with this catalog. Jawampa and Mara. Yet Juliana maybe wants to give you something new that you on some Adele level. But you're like, for me, I wonder because we're here.
So you're saying these new artists, okay, not new, like those other artists, they don't have that sentimental music, like that catalog that people can hold on to. That's why we always want another one from them.
Yeah.
You want another you want another PK. No, I think we should start calling it PK.
PK.
Yeah, bubblegum is all sounds,
Yeah.
Let's call it PK. PK music.
Sagala kujerega, because where the world is right now, they need that very fast fulfillment.
Yeah.
But also we forget that there are people, even though there are people who are always at the edge of Njagala Kapia, there are people who always go back in their car and play one song or one playlist pakalwatu uke uwe. So there are different classes of people. But if an artist wants to be current and relevant and be able to do more shows in a year, because I'm comfortable doing a show a year. But if you wanted to do more shows, then you have to drop more music. Because the crowd that comes out only once a year, Mataiga will come out with their women, buy some champagne, like buy some wine and sit comfortably to watch your show. They're not usually going out. They don't go out this weekend and the next weekend. It's a special event that they're coming out for. That's when you drop your music. That's you if you're classic. If you drop classics, they just come out for that one album, they're good. One chibamala. But if bagala weekend no weekend dako, then you must give them something new to keep that energy. Keep that energy going. So I think it's better to have a balance between the two. So you see what's happening to Lil Wayne. He used to be this guy. One every time, right?
Drop.
Now that he sees the little, and now he's back to giving them. They are like, that train left. You get. Yet Jay-Z took 5 years. Dre took 15 years. So and so took 10 years. But the moment they were back, people were like, oh my God, where have you been? Like everything has disadvantages and disadvantages.
Some people don't come. You should study because you may go
and you don't return.
I know.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you find it depends on who you are. If you go away when you used to be this guy, of every month, every week, every something, it's harder to come back.
Yeah.
But if you go and you are this guy who was giving them one every 3 years, every 4 years, people are still waiting for Adele.
Yeah.
People are still waiting for the next Celine Dion show.
Yeah.
People are still waiting for Detox, an album which has been promised to hip hop for the last 15 years.
Okay.
Can
I ask you, according to what you're saying, in Uganda we have, I can say, one artist that has been doing that in the mainstream. Okay. Apart from you, because where you're releasing albums, he's releasing one song.
Yeah.
That's Peter Miles.
But is Peter still active?
Don't really know.
Because I see Peter doing business, by the way. Peter, you haven't invited us. We are the people with the money. We're people with the money to eat at your marina. Peter Miles has... Because Peter is a friend of mine. I know marina. We has built like a whole spot where boats can go. There's a place where we can park our boats. Have a good time and whatever. Even like tourism of like bird watching, which so Peter Miles has this new place I think that he has been putting work into. Akuba heat ku ocean ku lake. Akubida ku front line wali wenyini. But I don't know when it was, because I'm a Peter Miles fan too. When was the last time he released the joint?
Isn't it Frontline?
No, there's a song he released with Juliana.
Juliana?
I think that was the last one I
heard.
Old
one. Ojia.
What?
Ojia. It's called Ojia. Juliana. Peter
When was the last Peter Miles joint, by the way? Tell us. Our researcher is going to ask.
2006.
Is going to chat GPT.
2006 is very far. It has to be, I think, 2014.
Peter, it's us you should call. We are the people with the money.
2014. Done with Hans?
Yeah. Because I think that's Nyinemo.
Yeah, I guess.
Nyinemo, yeah.